Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. In this video, we are going to be using the new Juno & Company Microfiber Velvet Sponge. I am filming this intro after I've already done the demo, so my sponge is a little bit dirty, but you'll see in a second how I apply my foundation. And I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty foundation. Obviously this has been around for just a little bit and you've seen so many reviews, but I haven't showed it on my channel yet. I just wanted to show you how it applies and what I think about it, especially if you are my skin tone. The shade I'm using is Brown Sugar, so if you are my skin tone, that is a really good shade to use. It is definitely more on the warm side, so be careful of that. If you are a similar skin color but a different undertone, then be mindful of that. Stay tuned so you can see how I apply it with the new microfiber sponge and my thoughts afterwards. But before I begin, I just want to say hi, my name is Coulter. This is my channel called Pretty Casual. I cover beauty, fashion, lifestyle, all the above. I hope that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I post videos. And also, if you want to follow me on my Instagram, you can catch me there when I am not on YouTube. I post daily, and I also post a lot on my Insta stories about mom life, other beauty things, stuff that I buy, stuff that I eat, house stuff. So I hope that you guys can be part of my IG family and also my YouTube family. And now on with this video.
It came in this little baggie that was sealed, so that is nice. And it says here that the microfiber sponge has little tiny bristles and a slanted edge for controlled stippling. It is made of hydrophilic polyurethane and antimicrobial microfiber. Excuse me. It comes with instructions on how to use it, either dry or wet, and also how to clean your sponge along with the don'ts. So here's the sponge itself. It's not as squishy and soft as the original Beauty Blender, and it does have these tiny little kind of microfiber velvet feel, which is very interesting. It's got two flat edges and a round side right here, and it comes to the top tapered so you can get into little crevices around your face. I'm going to be using the sponge wet. I already ran it under the faucet and then squeezed out the excess. It does say to not leave it submerged underwater. Today I'm using Huda Beauty's foundation in Brown Sugar, and I'm going to go ahead and use just less than 1 pump of foundation, and it says that you can put it on your hand and then stipple it with the sponge. So I'm using this flat side to do that. And I don't normally put on my foundation like this with it directly on the sponge, but I wanted to just try it out and see how much it would soak into the sponge. And as you can see, doing that, it did soak in that little spot right there. So I'm going to go ahead and just use whatever's on the sponge and spread it all around my face as much as I can. And it does a really good job of not soaking it up. So what I normally do is take the foundation with a finger and then spread it around my face so I can have an even layer. And then I pounce it all over. And as you can see, it didn't pick up very much product at all. Now taking a second to look at this foundation, it does a really great job with just little amount to even out my skin tone. I don't like full coverage and like slathering on the foundation. So I like to use little as possible and get the most coverage that way without looking too packed on with foundation. And again, the sponge does such a great job of not picking up the product, which is amazing. I'm going to go in with this concealer here. It's Revlon's Youth Effects. It's Fix and Blur. I really love this stuff. You don't need a lot. I'm going to use this slanted edge on the sponge, and I'm noticing as I'm blending this into my skin that the sponge feels quite dry. I've never had that issue with the Beauty Blender, so I'm just going to do the best I can and hopefully it doesn't affect it. And it barely picked up any of the concealer product. So cool. So here it is blended out. I'm actually going to re-wet the sponge because I feel like it's a little bit too dry, so I'm going to see if it makes a difference on this other side. So I think it did a really good job of blending out the concealer on both sides. Now I'm going to go in with this LA Girl Pro Concealer, which is a dark shade, so I can contour my face using my fingers, spreading it around, and then using this rounded side on the sponge, I'm going to blend it out. And it's blending out beautifully. And once again, on the sponge, it picked up very little product. I mean, I am really happy about that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. And then what I did is dot the concealer to contour my nose because I wanted to see how this sponge would do by swiping the product. I normally wouldn't swipe anywhere around my face, but on my nose, this concealer, if you pat it, it really doesn't spread out enough. So I kind of have to swipe it. I wanted to see if it would do a good job or leave streaks. And it did a really good job. So can we just take a moment here to admire the foundation? It looks so beautiful.
Okay, so now I am back with a full face of makeup on. I have to tell you, this little sponge is quite impressive. I really was not sure what to expect with it. It definitely does what it claims. It doesn't absorb very much at all. And just make sure if you try this out, you pay attention to the directions because it tells you exactly how to use it, whether it's dry or wet, how to apply your makeup with it, and also how to clean it. And I actually really like it. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the texture of it, but it definitely does what it claims. One thing that I don't like about the Beauty Blender is how much product it absorbs. So sometimes I feel like using brushes a lot, sometimes I'll use my Beauty Blender a lot, but I'll use the same technique even with a microfiber sponge. I like to put it on my hand first, warm it up, and then put it all over my face instead of just putting it on my hand and then using the sponge and kind of picking up the product and then putting it on here. I just don't even like to do that with the Beauty Blender. Even with a brush, I think you should definitely try this. If you like using the beauty sponge, or maybe you find that the Beauty Blender is just way too expensive, and maybe you find that the Real Technique sponge or any other sponges kind of absorb too much makeup, then give this guy a go. Look at how little makeup it absorbed into itself. Very impressive. And as far as the Huda Beauty foundation, I see why there's so much hype around this foundation. It is beautiful. It is flawless. I only used a little bit for this little review video, and look at how much coverage it gave me and just gave me such a flawless finish. This stuff is amazing. New favorite here, Huda Beauty, and another new favorite is this little microfiber sponge. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. I have some other really cool videos coming up and another giveaway coming soon to my channel, so don't miss it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.